Well, I think we all have to engage in global health because A, it's a huge part of what humans need in life. It's a huge part of the economy. And right now, we're poised for a period of dramatic change in everything about how we do health. So, for example, we can't keep data sets in a company or one researcher in a university. This just doesn't work. And other fields of computers or physics have learned how to do that. And so an Ashoka fellow, based in Seattle actually, is working with all the actors, pharma companies, universities. So there are 6 major universities who are collaborating together to share data sets, and they will get more and better articles. And he's worked with the funders, so they now are rewarding people for sharing. But that's only begun. That's an example of a social entrepreneur at work. We need the companies who are the main actors here to recognize this is where the real opportunity is. But this is a really fundamental pattern change, and it requires not everyday business, but where are the entrepreneurs? Isn't that what business is really good at? Well, the goals are a consensus statement of where we need to go, and then the question comes, how do you get there? And that means addressing every part of the system. So, for example, we have a very large number of fake pharmaceuticals in Africa, and still pretty big in India. So a Ghanaian Ashoka fellow, Bright Simon, came up with a really simple insight. Oh, everyone now has cell phones. Now what if we got the phone services and the pharma companies and a hotline and people could call and check the number? Well, all of a sudden you're cutting the legs out from underneath something that is really destroying much of the effort to get to any goal. Project Impact. If you look at the whole value-added chain to get people cataract operations, well, you discover a lot of people are not getting them because the average cost in Egypt when he started was $240, and the average monthly income was about $70, and people are willing to spend about a month's salary. Oh, so you have to change everything about the system to drive the cost down to $70. And that includes manufacturing intraocular lenses and selling them for $250 rather than $130. And so now this group manufactured 2.2 million of these lenses last year, and they have driven the cost of that input. But they've also got doctors doing, instead of 20 or 30 cases a year, hundreds and hundreds. And so the result is, in India, for example, that we now, last year we had over 5 million cataract operations. When he started 8 years before, it was 800,000. Well, that changes people's lives. But it also opens up tremendous opportunities for everyone. So 40% of the organizations buying these lenses are now companies. Okay, it's a really good question. Social entrepreneurs are, first of all, entrepreneurs. So they're about pattern change. This is not about direct service. Second, they are social entrepreneurs. So from deep within, they are committed to the good of all, and therefore their work is. And that's a different perspective. It's not their interest or the shareholders' interest or an ideological or religious point of view. It's the good of all. Well, that gives you a huge competitive advantage when you're designing a new system because you are listening to everyone. You care about everyone. Second, social entrepreneurs are not trying to capture a market and, if possible, dig a moat. They're trying to change the world. So they intentionally make their ideas as simple and understandable and safe and copyable as possible, precisely so that thousands of people and thousands of communities say, oh, Sejal's idea, this is a good idea. We need that here. Why don't we organize and make that happen? And then they do, and then they become change makers. And that's very powerful. You're not just looking at an organization, which this is a frequent mistake. You're not looking at the number of people that organization serves directly. You've got a movement, and a movement that is internally self-multiplying. So that's very, very powerful. So I think those are two of the changes. But otherwise, you know, everyone now has to be in the change game because that is the game. And if you don't organize that way and you don't have those skills, you're out of the game. We all have to help one another learn how to be a fluid, open team of teams, not a few people telling everyone else what to do. So assembly line is going away, and this sort of constantly changing network of teams working together is now here. And so ask your friends, how good is your organization, whether it's a business or a citizen group, in playing in this new game? And that's a very fundamental question that everyone, regardless of the old bewalled differences, has to ask. Well, probably the most important is you need entrepreneurs to talk to entrepreneurs. And if you have that, then who cares about these historical boundaries? Entrepreneurs never care about boundaries. You've got this goal, okay, well, how do we get there? And what entrepreneurs do is they figure out how to reconfigure the whole thing. So if you have business entrepreneurs working with social entrepreneurs, it is so easy. And they bring different strengths and backgrounds, personal, institutional, but they're in the game to get to the goal. And that is easy. Now, that's, I think, the most fundamental point. But there are tremendous opportunities for the world as it is now. When you tear down a wall, and there's a very big wall historically between business and society, you have a gigantic set of productivity and therefore wealth and service gains. And we have looked at this and actually been tearing down walls in a number of different areas, different industries. And in every case, if, this is key, if you know how to put people together into a new hybrid, business, social, or anyone else, value system, then you're going to be doing really well and making huge contributions, whether it's housing or health or whatever. But then how good is your company or citizen group at bringing people who've not been together before and building them into a fluid, open team of teams? That's really, in many ways, the core leadership or management skill that every company, every citizen group is going to have. And so the key question is, for everyone, how far along in your own skill set are you in developing that? And where is your company or citizen group or other organization?